Hey, what's going on, folks on YouTube? I'm back at you. It's your boy back at you. All right, this is apparently Bonchan says if you focus on whiff punishing, you won't win. Something like that. Let's find out.
I don't
This
know
is
if
Chris
has English translated YouTube or not.
F22, I think. I worked on F22s. The airplane. Yeah. Chris F22. Hit him up.
Basically, he put out this thing where he's doing his like Street Fighter 6 fundamental lecture. He's saying that a lot of people, especially like intermediate players, they'll always say things like whiff punishing. Like, wow, whiff punishing, like whiff punishing is amazing. I can't believe you whiff punished that. That's so cool. Like, that's amazing. And he says people tend to have the idea that whiff punishing is a huge part of playing Street Fighter 6. Bonchan,
I think the word whiff punish the reputation has been tarnished. I don't have anything convenient to refer to, but I did make a video about this for Punch Planet about what whiff punishing really means. The old back in my day, whiff punishing was you see something and you react to it. Like you saw what they did, you verified it, and then you swept it, you did low forward super or whatever. You whiff punished on reaction. But nowadays, whiff punish means, you hit them while they were doing something. Nice whiff punish, bro. But and it's also the way games have been designed recently, especially with Street Fighter V, especially that the crush counter system encouraged you to hit them before they hit you, which meant that you're attacking in anticipation a lot. So what happens is you have one person attacking in anticipation, the other person attacks in anticipation. Then there's more to it. It's not like that's wrong, and it's not like that wasn't in the old fighting games, because it definitely was. I mean, yeah, it definitely was. But I feel like the word whiff punish has kind of lost its meaning. But I will say that old term, that old definition of whiff punishing on reaction is what Bonchan is probably referring to. When you're focused and spacing and you're looking at what they might do, and then when they do it, you confirm that they did it, and then you do your thing that's going to punish it guaranteed. I think that is what he's referring to about focusing on whiff punishing. But let's find out.
isn't saying that whiff punishing isn't important at any time in Street Fighter 6. He goes like, if they whiff like a big butt in your face, you know, whiff punish stuff that's easily whiff punishable.
Yeah.
But what he goes on to say is that you shouldn't focus your whole game plan and your whole neutral game around just whiff punishing your opponent. And then he goes on to explain why you shouldn't do that in Street Fighter 6 and why he thinks it's actually a really weak way of playing neutral.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Happening if you focus too much on whiff punishing, you end up being able to do
this guy's Brian F.
Especially at this
Brian F.
You just end up playing like really passive, and all you end up doing is like walking back and forth, and then you basically give your opponent the opportunity to do whatever they want. Let's say you're fighting against an opponent, and you're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna wait. I'm sitting here. As soon as you whiff something, like, dude, you're done, because I'm going to whiff punish that. But then what ends up happening is your opponent just never throws out that crouching medium kick that you're looking to whiff punish. And then you just end up sitting around doing nothing. You give your opponent the opportunity to do whatever they want in neutral. And Bonchan goes on to say that in Street Fighter 6, because of neutral drive rush, just trying to play footsies at mid-range and focusing your entire game on whiff punishing is really, really weak in this game. But what you should...
I want to do something real quick. Hopefully I can do it quickly enough. But I think I've done this before. Let's say you're in the position of Ryu and you're looking for multiple things. The jump is going to be around, we'll say he's going to uppercut it. Let's just say that'll be around a 40 frame reaction. Usually jumps are around 40-ish, kind of. I don't know how like deep and that kind of thing, but we'll give that 40. Very doable. Whiff punishing, let's do a little quick compare. Let's see if I can poop that out real quick. Let's say you're Ryu with down medium kick as your whiff punish, 8 frames, and your Chun-Li down medium kick is a total of 26. Down medium kick to MK, 26. And yours is 9. And let's do this 40 again. This is a 40 frame reaction. So this reaction, oh my God, what a wonderful 9. This would be a 15 frame reaction. Not the best idea. Really tight. Now there's more things that can happen, like Chun-Li's heavy punch. Also, let's say Chun-Li has a good drive rush. We'll go for that. Reacting to a drive rush is about 21 frames, I remember, if you're reacting with a 4 frame. So you have a 21 frame reaction here. If it's a drive rush, if you're checking a drive rush with jab, We'll just pretend like Chun-Li has a really good drive rush, and hers is fine. But just these 3 things alone, if you're looking for them, splitting up your attention from a 15 to a 21 to a 40, it's all these things individually aren't that bad. This one's pretty hard, 15. I think the minimum or max, whatever, 13 is probably the most you're gonna get for a whiff punish and like reactionary frames. Maybe 12. Maybe 12. 12 is really stretching it, but 13 I think is possible. But when you're splitting your attention, this is what people say with mental tax and that kind of thing, multitasking. When you split your attention and you're doing nothing to stop them from doing any of these things, you're just leaving yourself open in this environment. And in the other games, in like Third Strike, you don't have to worry about this so much. And this is like more. It'll be more, the thing you're whiff punishing with is faster, so you have more time to react to the footsies. So it just makes it a simpler neutral, which you might think that simple, less complicated means like not as interesting. But working with those smaller tools and what you do with them and how you do the other things like your movement and your manipulation of your footsies, that kind of thing, that's what makes it intense. But this has so much happening that it means like you just have to overwhelm before you get overwhelmed. It's kind of what I think the idea here is.
Should do instead of just always waiting,
numbers don't lie,
always playing passive and waiting for your opponent to make a mistake, do drive rush, hit them with something, and then put them into like a strike throw mix up. Take your plus frames from your drive rush, and he says that's right here, that's a much easier way to win in this game than just playing neutral and just trying to focus on whiff punishing.
Yep. You know what else is more important? This. You know what else? You know what's next in line? This. You know what's the least important? Your life bar. Your life bar. Life bar is like the last decision to make. The round count is probably more meaningful than the life bar. You would think maybe the life bar would be the most important thing, but when you're making your decisions...
Bonchan isn't saying whiff punishing is weak in this game. He's not saying it isn't important. He's saying basing your main game plan, your main neutral game, your main like autopilot flowchart in neutral around whiff punishing is weak in Street Fighter 6. And again, just his opinion, not mine. I'm just translating for you guys. So if you get mad, send the messages over to Bonchan, not me.
It's my opinion too.
Messenger, right? There's one more thing he says that is really good, I think, if I remember correctly. Oh yeah, so he's saying, and also another risk for always looking for whiff punishes is that if your spacing is wrong and your opponent doesn't even hit you, just causes you to block and does a rush.
Yeah.
Right? Block, crouching medium kick, you block it, they do drive rush. Just from blocking that crouching medium kick, if they drive rush, now you're in a minus situation, and then your opponent gets the mix up. So again, just from playing passively, you give your opponent more opportunities to get in and put you in a mix-up situation, even if you block, which in other Street Fighter games wouldn't have been the worst thing. Blocking.
This one depends a little bit. I definitely agree that sometimes whiff punishing isn't that you whiff punish them, but that you contacted them. You may not get the punish counter that is better, but you do get to be up close to them. Whenever I explain Street Fighter 6 to my Third Strike fellow boomer friends, I'm like, think about, just imagine Ken could hit low forward and then do a mix-up in your face. They're like, what? Yeah, that's what happens. But in this game, you have the drive gauge, and that's what's meant to balance that. I hate to say free offense, but that's kind of, it generates plus frames in the 50-50 that's in favor of the offense, but at the cost of drive gauge. And that's why the drive gauge is so much more important than any other stat most of the time. Because in this situation, like Chun-Li's doing a drive rush, but she has no meter left. So I'm really happy to take the throw. Like, there's no reason for me to not just get thrown, look for the overhead, because her threat, she don't have it no more. Even if I don't think Chun-Li can do anything if she throws you. But most characters, after they grab, they're gonna drive rush again to continue their pressure. But she don't got enough to drive. You don't even have enough to do that. So you definitely, in this situation, it's bad. You shouldn't do low forward drive rush on block. On hit, maybe you can get the reward. You can make up back for that. It's not Brian F. This is Chris F22. Y'all are killing me. It's Chris Brian F22.
Approaching medium kick in Street Fighter 5, 4, 3, 2, Alpha, whatever. that wasn't really a bad thing necessarily. That's a pretty safe play. But at this game, because you can drive rush it and take your plus frames, blocking a crouching medium kick is actually pretty risky and is a really big downside to playing passively. When you play against really good players, like at higher ranks, they're not going to be whiffing a lot of moves, and your chances
I don't know about that one.
Players are going to be not 0, but close to 0, because when they do something like Luke's crouching medium punch or like Chun-Li's crouching medium kick, they're not whiffing those moves. They know how to space it properly, and good players aren't going to be whiffing it like more than 1 or 2 times in a whole set.
Man, I don't want to say it. There's a prodigy out there who I would lose to, who would probably do that.
That's another reason why basing your game plan around whiff punishing against good players is a really bad idea, because you're looking for something that's not going to come very often.
His name's Noah.
You got to come up with a better way to play, and in his opinion, the better way to play is to try to get into mid-range and then try to hit them with a mix-up. Try to get in with a drive rush, try to do something like standing hard punch into a fireball and see if they push buttons after, and then try to do like some space trap kind of stuff after.
Yeah.
But just basing it on whiff punishing is not the greatest idea, according to Bonchan.
I want to add something real quick before the video closes. One thing that I was really good at in like Street Fighter Cross Tekken and Street Fighter 4, I knew when to dash at my opponents and then like throw them, jab, throw them, that kind of thing. In this game, I'm not good at it at all. I don't know why. It should be nearly the same process, but the way that you do that is just like what I described before. When they're thinking about your footsies that you might jump on them, jump at them, or maybe a fireball, something that occupies the middle of the screen, that's when you dash at them and they're not prepared for it. And sometimes you see a throw tech, or you hit them and you actually counter hit them because they tech too late. In this game, instead of a regular dash, I want to use the drive rush in the same way, where I see that they're looking for footsies, their mind isn't occupied with drive rush, and then you do the fastest drive rush possible, right? And then you can get your way in for just 1 bar. And I think that is such a major component in this game. Who did I play recently? Adrian Riven. His reactions are out of control. He'll uppercut like nobody's business. If you drive rush, if you do anything, if I do a palm with Honda, if I do a palm with Jamie, he's gonna uppercut it because he just got those. But I made it a point last time I played them to occupy the mid range enough to where my drive rush is gonna hit them where they're too mentally stacked. And I pulled it off. I was like, wow, see, he's human. But you really have to read what's not there. It's hard to do, like based on their behavior, context clues. It's so difficult to describe how to do this whole process. But I think you got to treat, like this whole ties into what Bonchan is saying. You can sort of feign or fake your way of playing footsies, like pretend like you're about to whiff punish something, and then you drive rush. You got to like present all those things. If you're going to be sort of defensive, you have to also be offensive, basically.
I mean, he goes on to explain the same thing in more detail later on. So I hope you guys enjoyed that quick little video. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments. And thank you again so much for watching. Until next time.
Give it up for Chris F. Nice video. That was great. Yeah, I like that. Cool. Chris F22 on Twitter. I'll put the link in the video. And fade. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. AutoMattock. Goodbye. Okay. What do y'all think?